Hello, Instagram. Hi. I have just told the YouTube what they need, so they're going to be hearing this one more time. But if you haven't seen the post yet, you'll need 2 books or 2 yoga blocks, hardback and sturdy, 1 yoga strap or a tie, something else to reach your feet, and something to sit on towards the end of class. So that could be a blanket or a bath towel like this, sort of our normal props that we use every time. Yes. So we'll get started by laying on your back in a shavasana. Not just flat on your back. Knees can be bent with your feet on the floor, or you can straighten your legs out long. Just make sure that your props are nearby, especially that strap. It's in reaching distance. And then make yourself comfortable on the floor and bring one hand to your belly and one hand to your heart. Tune into your breath and breathe in and out of your nose if possible today. And notice if you feel your breath even in both hands, that is in your belly and in your chest. Or if maybe one of your hands seems to be rising and falling more than the other as you inhale and exhale. And there's nothing wrong with anything that you notice. It's just observation. So much of the benefit of a yoga practice, beyond the physical health, is the fine-tuning of your ability to observe and witness your own self. As you begin to pick up on your habit patterns, whether they be postural habit patterns or emotional, mental patterns. And through yoga, we have the tools to make conscious changes to those patterns. Just settling into your practice, breathing down, relaxing just 5% more. And we'll start to activate while lying here flat on the floor. So if your legs were bent, you'll straighten your legs. And if your legs were already straight, you'll bring them hips width distance apart. And then flex your ankles so you pull your toes back towards your face. Toes are pointing straight up into the sky. Reach out through the heels. Bring your hands down along the side of the body, palms face up. And then tuck your shoulders underneath you. So we're working on a Supta Tadasana, or laying down mountain pose. Right where your leg bones, the femur bones of the thighs, grow into the hip socket, right at the hip crease, press that area down to the floor. And then knit your front ribs together and release them down towards the back ribs. So you start to activate through the core of the body. Spread across your collarbones and make your legs very strong. So you'll really feel the legs activating here, even though you're not doing very much. I'll repeat all of that one more time. Flex the toes back towards your face. Adding a little bit on, roll your inner thighs slightly down towards the ground. Squeeze into your quadricep muscles, so tighten the tops of your thighs. And then press the top of the femur bone, right where the thigh bone enters the hip socket, press that down towards the floor. Notice how that might have made your ribs pop up and lift off the floor. So you knit the front ribs together and draw them down towards the back ribs. And then you spread across the collarbones without losing any of the activation in the legs and in the torso. And release. Oh, so much work, doing not so very much. Find your strap, bend both of your knees to start, and then place the strap around the ball of your right foot. And then straighten the right leg out to the sky. And slide your hands all the way down your strap if it's long enough so your elbows are on the ground, and that will help you spread across your upper chest and collarbones. Now here I want you to straighten through your left leg, bringing it back to where it just was and just as active. So if you have to bend the right knee to do this, that's fine. What we're focusing on more now is what I'll call this standing leg, or this left leg that's grounded fully down to the earth. Same thing with the left leg. Pull the toes back towards the face and reach out with the heel. Roll your inner thigh down towards the ground, and then press the top of the thigh bone down towards the earth. Don't let that allow your ribs to pop up and spread wide. So draw those front ribs together and lower them down towards the backside body. The left leg is super strong right now. And the shape of your body is very similar to a warrior 3 or Virabhadrasana 3. So hint, hint. We'll be back in this shape with a different orientation to gravity. All right, try and keep that left leg super strong. It's easy to forget. It's a mind-body connection, but keep coming back to it. Left leg strong. Bring both of the straps in your right hand, and then bring your left hand to your left hip, maybe even the top of that left thigh, and press it down. From deep inside the right hip socket, turn the entire right leg out, so the toes point out to the right, and then open your right leg to the right. Keep the left leg down on the ground. So your body might not move very far. The right knee might be bent. It might just be very slightly open to the right because you're focusing and paying most attention to the left leg being grounded, especially the root of the thigh socket. So where the thigh enters the hip. Deep breaths. All right, so the right leg's open to the right. We're just going to bend the knee all the way in and bring the sole of your foot to your inner right thigh, or inner left thigh, excuse me. If that's uncomfortable, you can bring your foot down towards your shin. Either way, we're taking a tree pose on your back. So now don't let your hips rock open to the right. Keep pressing that left thigh down to the ground. And keep both of your front hip points level. So keep them parallel to the ceiling. Now bring the right knee back to the sky and release the strap. Both feet on the floor. Change sides. Hook the strap on the left foot. Straighten the left foot to the sky. And then lengthen your right leg long down to the end of the earth. Again, do whatever you need to in this left leg to prioritize the grounding of the right thigh. Pull the right toes back towards the face and reach out with the heel. Roll the inner thigh down to the ground and press the top of the thigh bone down to the earth. Quadriceps engaged, the leg is super firm. Take some deep breaths here. Have you let that right leg go? Engage, engage, engage. And then switch both of the straps into your left hand. Bring your right hand to the right hip or thigh and press it down. You want to keep those hips level on the earth. Turn the left thigh out and open the left thigh to the left side. And you'll see me going through the back wall, which is not obviously a sheet, right? So this right leg, press it down. Don't let your body roll over to the left. It's easy it's easy to roll over because your leg is super heavy. So this takes a lot of effort. But you're really pressing down through that right leg, focusing on the strength in the right leg. We're working on this because we're going to be balancing on one leg and you want that leg to be engaged. We'll come back to all of this in a different position to gravity. All right, now we're moving into the Supta Vrikshasana, or the laying down tree pose. So bend into your left knee and bring your foot into the inner right thigh, or maybe down below the knee, whatever works for your body. Keep pressing down through that right leg, not giving up on it yet. Keep your hip points level to the sky. And then point your left knee straight up to the sky and release. First side. Place the strap around the ball of your foot and straighten the left leg. This time we'll take it easy. Just let that left leg relax. Place both of the straps now in your left hand. Release your right hand to the right side of the body. And then keeping both of your buttocks on the floor, cross your right leg over to the left. So you're crossing it over the body, getting a stretch, maybe on this outer hip. Now for you, if you want to, you can allow your body to twist over to the left. Just kind of do what you like here. But what I want you to do is get a little bit of an opening through the TFL, the muscles of this outer hip, down through the IT band. And then bring the right leg back to center, bend the left knee, and change sides. Right leg straight, right leg lazy. Hold both of your straps in your right hand and cross the left leg across the body to the right. Again, if you want to twist all the way, go for it. It's fine. My intention for you is to get an outer hip stretch, outer leg stretch. Take a few deep breaths. This is one of my least favorite feeling stretches, but I can tell you over the course of 10 years, it's gotten more pleasurable. It just took a really long time. All right, so you'll bring that left leg back up to center, bend your right knee, and release both of your legs. So now we're still working on the back. We're not sitting up anytime soon. We got some core work and some outer hip engagement work. So both knees bent, feet on the floor, hips width distance apart. And bring your hands to your outer hips. So your four fingers are pointing down towards the ground and the thumb is looped up and over the top of your hip. Most of your palm is on that outer hip. Press down into your feet and attempt to pull them apart without actually moving them. Can you feel something engage underneath your palms? If not, just move the hands and keep pressing down and out with the feet and releasing. Moving in a pattern, pressing down and out and then release. Trying to find the muscles that are activating at your outer hips when you do this. So slight contradiction in terms, I'll be telling you to hug the outer hips in. It's these muscles we're activating to support the outer hips. All right. Now bring the hands underneath the head, interlace them, and let your thumbs stream down along the sides of the neck. Here, just rest the head in the hands. We're not going too far yet. I want you to close the eyes and bring your awareness to your pubic bone. So that's a flat bone between the front hip points. And just notice, does the pubic bone seem to be tilting down towards your feet or up towards your navel? Or does it seem to be pretty level? If it's tilting in one direction, try to level your pubic bone so that it's parallel with the sky, parallel with the ceiling. There should be a natural curve in your low back here. So there's a lift of the lowest part of the spine up and away from the floor just slightly. Press your feet down into the earth, attempt to drag them apart and feel those outer hips engage without moving your pubic bone from the place where you've set it. Now pull your elbows up so that you can see them in your peripheral vision. Keep the strength in your low body, keep the pelvis neutral, and as you exhale, lift your head and shoulders off of the earth. Notice if you've changed the orientation of your hips. Have you deepened the curve in your back or have you flattened it against the earth? Find that neutral curve. Pubic bone flat to the sky. And inhale, roll the head and shoulders down. 3 more times. Exhale, lift it up. No movement in the hips, but a lot of work to keep them stable. Inhale, roll it down. Hug those outer hips in. Exhale, lift it up. Inhale, roll it down. Just moving above the ribs. Exhale, lift it up. Inhale, lower down. Last time. Exhale, lift it up, hold. Let your head fall heavy in the hands. Release the neck. Lift it up a little higher. And exhale, release. Another Supta Tadasana. Bring your hands down by the sides of the body, palms face up. Lengthen your legs long to the end of the mat. Hips width distance apart. Pull the toes back towards the face. Roll your inner thighs slightly down towards the ground. And flatten the top of the thigh bone down towards the earth. Adding on, reach your tailbone between your heels so you feel a wake up right there around the pubic bone. Knit the front low ribs, draw them towards the backside body. And now grab opposite elbows over your chest. Keep the strength and structure in your legs and your torso. And as you inhale, release the arms overhead. They might not go very far. If you start to lift your back to get the hands to the floor, bring the hands or the arms back up towards the sky slightly. And keep integrity through both sides of your waist evenly. Keep reaching the heels away from you so you're drawing your body in opposite directions. Use an inhale breath to bring the arms back to the starting position, and exhale, release them down by the sides of the body. Bend your knees, and let's roll over onto your belly. Place your hands along the side ribs so your fingers are about in line with the nipples. And draw the elbows together behind you. Forehead is facing down towards the floor so the back of your neck is long. Press down through the tops of your feet. Feet are hips width distance apart and the toenails are contacting the floor. As you inhale, lift your chest off of the ground. Draw the elbows together behind you. Keep pressing the tops of the feet down and hover your hands off of the ground. Now reach the hands directly behind you and spread the collarbones. Keep pressing the feet down, bring the hands back to that hover. Release the hands down. And use an exhale breath to slowly lower back down. Legs still engaged. Again, inhale, lift your chest off the floor. Next inhale breath, hover your hands off the earth. Next inhale breath, reach the hands behind you. Inhale, bring the hands back to a hovered, pull the elbows together. Inhale, lower the hands, lift the heart a little higher. And exhale, lower down. Now, forehead stays on the ground. We start to work the lower half of the body. Press your pubic bone flat down into the ground and reach your tailbone between the heels. As you inhale, squeeze your buttocks and lift both of your legs off of the ground. And exhale, lower it down. If you had any low back issues, I want you to focus even more on reaching the tailbone down between the heels. It'll feel like your pubic bone is drawing slightly up towards your navel. So again, leaving the forehead down on the ground, press the pubic bone down, draw it slightly up, squeeze into the buttocks to lift both of the legs off the floor. Now roll your inner thighs up towards the sky so your knees point directly down towards the ground. As you inhale, spread your legs apart wide. And as you exhale, draw them together, rolling the inner thighs up. 2 more times. Inhale, spread them wide. Exhale, draw them together, roll the inner thighs up. Inhale, spread them wide. Exhale, draw them together, roll the inner thighs up. And release the legs. Bring the hands underneath the head and rock the hips side to side on the floor. So now we're still working the core. I mentioned in the post that your core is not just your abdomen. It's this whole powerhouse structure of the hips, the buttocks, the belly. And we're working the backside of the core now. So we're going to add those 2 things together. If you had any pain, just stick with the exercise that felt the best in your body. If you're all right, we'll add the chest up and legs up together. So hands align with the nipples. Press down through the tops of the feet to start and inhale. Lift your chest off of the floor. Tuck the chin slightly so the back of your neck is long. And if you're ready, use another exhale breath to squeeze the buttocks and lift the legs off the ground. Inhale, spread the legs wide. Exhale, draw them together, inner thighs roll up. Inhale wide. Exhale together. Inhale wide. Exhale together. And slowly lower down. Press down into your hands to come up to hands and knees. And then find a child's pose. So spread the knees wider than the hips. Sink your hips back to your heels and crawl the arms forward. Deep breaths. Feel the low back expand as you inhale. And exhale to release, relax, let go. We've already done a ton of work and we haven't even gotten off the ground. but the body is ready and active and able now to support yourself through the rest of this sequence. So let's come up onto hands and knees. Here, make the creases of your wrists parallel with the short front side of the mat. And that might also just be turning your index fingers to point forward. Knees are underneath the hips, so look back, their hips width distance. Then gaze right down at the floor in front of the fingertips so that the back of the neck is long. Curl your left toes under on the ground, and then straighten your left leg behind you. Left toes stay on the ground. Squeeze into the left buttocks and lift the left heel to hip height. Now, finding those outer hip muscles again, especially the outer right hip, hug the outer right hip in towards the midline and hug the outer hips towards one another. Stable hips. If you want, you can curl the right fingertips forward and inhale to lift your right arm to shoulder height, bird dog pose. But the arm is optional. Deep breath in, deep breath out. And then release back into your tabletop. Second side. Curl the right toes under and straighten the right leg behind you with the toes on the floor. Hug the outer hips in, squeeze into the right buttocks and lift the right heel to hip height. Now, especially this left outer hip, which wants to drop off to the left, hug it into the midline. Right outer hip engages as well. And maybe you curl the left fingertips forward and lift the left arm to shoulder height, bird dog. Draw the low belly up and in away from the ground so it's not hanging down, so the low back is supported. And then slowly release. Just going to do a few pulses for the glute muscles. So first side, curl the left toes under, reach the left leg behind you, and then inhale, lift the left heel to hip height. Now bend 90 degrees at the knee so the sole of the foot is facing the ceiling. Hug the outer hips in towards the midline, especially that outer right hip. And now 8 times, squeeze into the left buttocks and pulse. Pulse. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Second side. Curl the right toes under. Straighten the right leg. Inhale to lift the right heel to hip height. Hug the outer left hip in towards the midline. Bend your right knee, sole of the foot to the sky. And 8 times, squeeze the right buttocks. Pulse. Pulse. Pulse, 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 and pulse. And release. Child's pose. Sink back and relax. All right. Come back into tabletop and find a plank pose. And from plank, lift your hips up and back to downward facing dog. If the backs of your legs are tight, spread your feet as wide as the mat. Press down into your hands, flatten the palms into the earth. Wrap your triceps down towards the ground and broaden across your collarbones and upper back. Deep breathing. And bend the knees. Walk the feet forward towards the hand and come into a forward fold. Here, if you can't reach the floor when you're folding down, you'll grab your books or your blocks and use them underneath your hands. Just let your body hang down. Knees can be bent or straight, whatever you like today, it's fine. Just a few deep breaths here, soften the belly. And if you care to check out your alignment, just look at your feet. See if one's turned out more than the other or in. And try and parallel your feet. Then look at your knees and see if they're knocking in towards one another, drawing out. Line them up at the middle of each foot. So about the crack between the second and third toe. That's the middle of the foot. Line your knee up with that. All right, hands on your blocks or on your outer shins. Inhale to come up halfway. We flatten the spine. We're in like an L shape. Legs are straight. Remember where we were pressing, the top of the thigh back. Find that same area here and press it back behind you. Bring your hands to your hips. Pull your elbows together behind you. Press down into your feet, and as you inhale, come up to standing. Exhale, release the hands down by the sides of the body. We're going to get very particular with the Tadasana. Feet hips width distance apart. Parallel the feet as you are already working. And then press down through the ball of the big toe mound, pinky toe mound, and the center of each heel. Lift up through the inner arches. And now we're drawing the energy up the legs. So find your strong thigh bones, strong thigh muscles. Squeeze into the quadriceps. And then from that same area, upper thigh bone, press back. And reach your tailbone down between the heels. So we're activating the low belly here. Turn the palms to face forward. Roll the shoulders back and down. And let the front ribs knit together and draw down towards the front hip points. Legs are super strong. Hips are stacked over heels. As you inhale, reach your arms overhead and then grab opposite elbows. I'm kneeling down so you can see the upper part of my body. Stay super strong in the legs. Find that connection of thigh bone into hip joint. And now reach up through the elbows to lengthen the sides of your waist without back bending and letting these front ribs pop. Pressing down into the earth, lifting up with the elbows. One more breath in. And exhale, release. So this is Tadasana, and these are Tadasana legs we've been working. So you're standing at the front of your mat, Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, lift the arms overhead. Think about your alignment. Exhale, fold forward. Use your books if you need them. Inhale, come up halfway, long, straight spine. Exhale, plank pose. Knees up or knees down. Reach your top sternum forward, inhale. Exhale, lower all the way down to the earth. Point back through the tops of the feet. Inhale, cobra pose, lift the heart. Remember how you worked this? And now exhale, down dog. You might travel through hands and knees, and then lift the hips up high into the sky. Take a deep breath in here. Deep breath out. Then walk the feet forward to the hands, hang in. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold back down. Press down into your feet. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Exhale, ground into the feet. One more time. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Think about those strong legs. Inhale, come up halfway. Quad muscles are on. Exhale, plank pose. Inhale into your plank. Now exhale, lower all the way down to the ground. Inhale, cobra, lift the heart. Pubic bone presses down. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bring your knees down to the ground. Walk your hands in towards your knees and come up onto your fingertips. And then step your right foot forward. Crawl your hands up onto your right thigh and bring your hands to your hips. We're in a low lunge. So here, hug those outer hips in. I don't want this kind of dumping thing going on. We're really engaging the outer hips in this shape. And then to deepen it, you just draw the hips forward. They'll naturally move down, but we're keeping an engagement in the outer hips. One way to help you find that is by pressing down through the right heel and attempting to drag it away from the midline, similar to how we did in the beginning. Now grab opposite elbows, try and put the other forearm on top, and lengthen both sides of your waist by lifting up through the arms, especially that left side waist. Deep breath in, and deep breath out. Inhale, release the arms to the sky. Exhale, plant the hands. Step back onto your hands and knees. And again, crawl the hands in halfway. Come up onto your fingertips and step your left foot forward. Crawl the hands up onto the left thigh and bring your hands to your hips. Hug the outer hips in. And then maybe draw the hips forward without just dumping into this shape. You know, we want to really stay engaged, and that takes a lot of mental effort. So bring the hands overhead. Lengthen through the side waist, especially the right side waist. Take a deep breath in. A deep breath out. Simply straighten the elbows, palms to the sky. And exhale, release. Step back, tabletop. Curl the toes under, downward facing dog. Lift your hips high. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Walk your feet forward to the hands. Inhale, come up halfway. Hands on books or outer shins. Exhale, fold back down and in. And inhale all the way up to standing, arms overhead. Exhale, release your hands to your heart. Okay, so take a quarter turn so you're facing the long side of your mat or your practice space. And step the feet wide. Hands on your hips. Taking a Virabhadrasana 2 or Warrior 2. Starting on the right leg. So from the same place of the hip socket we've been working with, you turn the entire right leg out. Toes point towards the short side of your mat. And then angle the left toes slightly in. Okay, so bring your hands out to a T and maybe turn to gaze over the right fingertips. Pay attention to your left leg here. That's your back leg. Take that femur bone into the hip socket and press it back. And then drive the outer hip into the outer foot. Press down through the center of your left heel. So we're kind of working with the Tadasana leg and the left leg and the back leg here, even though it's in a slightly different shape. Deep breath in and deep breath out. And as you inhale, straighten through your right knee, hands to your hips, and turn all 10 toes to face forward. Second side, we'll get into this side a little differently. So same thing to start, from deep within this left hip socket, turn the entire left leg out and angle the right toes in. Now, before we go anywhere, I want you to find the strength in this right leg. So take that right hip crease, press it back, then drive the outer hip into the outer foot and press down through the center of the heel. Inhale, lift your arms out to a T and reach strongly into that right arm. Now imagine you're stuck where you're coming from, okay? You're stuck into the right foot, you're stuck into the right arm, and we just bend the left knee while keeping the power in the right leg. So the tendency for a lot of people in this pose is to shift all the weight into this front leg, and right now your left leg, and get very light in the back leg. So really make an effort to find strength through your back leg. And to finish the pose, if your neck is okay, turn to gaze over your left fingertips. Take a deep breath here. And then use an inhale breath to straighten your left knee. Release your hands to your hips and turn all 10 toes forward. I'm going to stand with your feet hips width distance apart. And we'll take our first balancing pose. So Vrikshasana or tree pose, hands on the hips. We're going to start slow. So don't skip steps here. Just come along with me, even if you know how to do tree pose already. If you need some help with balancing, you might find a wall, which I realize you Instagrammers can't see. I have a wall right next to me. It's okay to use the help and the balance. Okay, we're going to start by standing on the left foot. So first we bend the right knee and then turn the right knee open to the right. Step your foot back so that the toes are in line with your heel. All right, grab your elbows and lift them overhead. So I want you to really feel a lift in the length through both side waists. And then again, from the root of this left leg, press the thigh back and reach your tailbone down. So we're not doing this, but we're really working to line up the hip over the heel and engage the core muscles. All right, release the hands, release the leg. Second side. You'll have a second chance to do this pose in a little bit more of a balance if you'd like. Hands on the hips, come up onto your left toes, and then turn the left leg open. Step the toes in line with the heel. Nice. So we'll start here with the standing leg. Press the top of the right thigh back and reach the tailbone down. Grab opposite elbows and lift the arms overhead. Lengthen up through the side waists without letting your front ribs flare and pop open. Same thing, they're drawing towards the back ribs. Super stable through that left standing leg. We've been in this position almost exactly on our backs. And release the arms, release the leg. Round two. You can do it the same way that we just did it. Or if you want to add on a little bit of a challenge, hands on the hips.
And you'll bring either the foot to the floor, maybe the low shin, or maybe you reach down with your right hand to grab the ankle and place the foot on the inner left thigh. So hands back to the hips. Remember, you get to use some help and support for balance. You don't have to waver here and fall. And we want to do the same thing that we've been working. Okay, so from this left hip joint, press the thigh bone back. Reach the tailbone down. Strong standing left leg. To challenge your balance, grab opposite elbows and lift those arms overhead. Everybody lengthen through the side waist. Now maybe release the arms straight, palms facing one another. If you're feeling quite stable here, bring the palms together over your head. And the next step is to look up at your thumbs. Lift your heart, find a little bit of a back bend. If you're looking up, bring the head back level, release your hands to your heart and then to your hip, and then release the right leg down. Shake out the left leg, second side. Hands on the hips, strong right leg. Bring your left leg into your tree pose. Lower shin, maybe into the groin. Now take that right top thigh, press it back, reach your tailbone down. To challenge your balance even further, lift your elbows overhead and lengthen through both side waists. Strong right leg. We've been preparing for these balancing moments. Maybe straighten the elbows, arms overhead. Maybe bringing the palms to touch. Maybe looking up and lifting your heart to the sky. Bring your hands to your heart, hands to the hips, and release that left leg. Whew, shake it out. All right, we got another balance. Same thing that we've been working. Now we'll stand on the left leg, hands on your hips. Bring the right knee forward to hip height. Take that left top thigh, press it back, tailbone down. And then bring your hands forward, arms straight to hold on to that right knee. Now you can stay here. It's very easy here to let the left knee buckle, to let the hips pop forward, to do some crazy stuff in that lower leg. You can stay here working to get the left leg straight, press the thigh back, find that steady strength. If you're feeling stable here, keep your left hand on your knee, bring your right hand to your hip. Lengthen through the side waist, everybody. Down through the left leg. And then maybe twist over to your right. Hug your outer hips in towards the midline. Breathe. With control, turn back to center. Hands to your hips. Release your right leg down. Whew. Shake it out. Second side. So first we root down through the right foot and we strengthen through the leg. Lift your left knee to hip height. Press the root of the right thigh back. Hug the outer hips in. Bring your hands forward to your left knee. Lengthen through both side waists, and if you like, bring your left hand to your hip. Another lift up through the waists, just as if the elbows are overhead, and you keep that length as you twist to your left. Check back in with the right thigh bone. Is it pressing back? Is your tailbone reaching down towards the heel to lengthen the low back? Take a deep breath in. Let it out slow. With control, come back to center. Hands to your hips. Release your left leg down. Nice. So we've got one more standing balance pose. Grab your books or your blocks, and then turn to face the short edge of the mat. Stand towards the front of your mat and step your left leg back long. Left toes angled slightly forward. Bend your right knee slightly. Then bring your books down to the ground on either side of your right foot. So for a hamstring stretch here, work towards straight in your right leg by drawing the right sitting bone further away from the back of the knee. Few breaths here. Think about Tadasana in your back leg. And now we'll work into a warrior 3 pose using the books for support. So you'll see me move a little, you'll stay in place. Bend into your right knee and step your books far forward, about a foot, foot and a half. Pop your left foot in halfway. Keep the right knee bent to start. Squeeze into the left buttock and lift the left heel to hip height. Now here, all 5 of your left toes turn straight down towards the floor. So you're not letting that leg open. You're really working to point the toes down and keep the heel directly up towards the sky. You heard me say earlier, revolve your inner thigh up to the sky. Same thing here. Now maybe you can straighten your right leg, but maybe not. Maybe you leave it bent and you're just working with the strength of the left leg. If you do straighten your right leg, same thing, my friends. Press the top of the right thigh back. Now here, you've been on your back with the strap around your right leg and your left leg straight on the floor, hearing me tell you for maybe the first few times to press your left thigh down into the ground. Now we're pressing the thigh up into the side without lifting it higher than hip height. Been here for a while, probably feeling a burn. With grace, bend into your right knee, step your left foot back, crawl the books to frame your right foot, straighten the right leg one more time. Deep breath in, deep breath out. And then bend the right knee, step the left foot forward and the right foot back. And here we are on the second side. So right toes angled slightly forward, working towards straighten your left leg for a hamstring stretch. Few deep breaths. If you need to rest in a child's pose and catch back up on this side, do so. You know you need a rest if you can't catch your breath. Breathing should be smooth and slow. So take a break, catch your breath, and then join back up. That way we stay regulated. We stay in control. All right, bend into that left knee. Step your books about a foot in front of you, and then jump the right foot in slightly. So squeeze the right buttock and lift the right heel to hip height. Keep your left knee bent. Turn all 5 toes straight down to the ground. Same thing I'm saying, roll your inner thigh up towards the sky. Try to straighten through that right leg. Maybe you can straighten your left leg, maybe not. If you can, press the top of the left thigh back. Lengthen your side waists. And again, think back to the beginning of class when the strap was around your left foot and your right leg was working so hard on the floor. Now it's still working hard, and for a reason. It has to. Now slowly bend into your left knee and step that right foot back long. Bring the books back towards your left toes. Straighten the left leg once more. Deep breaths. Taking a break anytime you need it. Slight bend into the left knee. Step the right foot forward to the left. Get rid of the blocks. And then come down into a child's pose. Or any pose that feels like a rest for you. I say this often, child's pose isn't comfortable for everyone. Here I want you to be comfortable. So take what you need. Smooth out your breath. We're all done with the active poses. So go ahead and sit up and find your blanket or your towel and fold it to sit on. Not everybody needs a towel. If you're on the tighter side, you want to lift your hips up. You can sit flat on the floor without rounding through your low back. You can do that. So here, make sure that your strap or tie is nearby. Straighten both of the legs out in front of you. Bring your hands to the sides of your hips. And then lift up one buttocks and move the buttocks flush diagonally out from underneath you. So we're coming to sit more on to the sitting bones, and the flesh, the good stuff of the buttocks, is behind us. We'll bend into your right knee and bring your right heel as close in towards your sitting bone as you can get it, and right in line with that sitting bone. And this is a lot of opening through the hips, so yours might look very different. You'll just work on that. It's okay to let the right hip, the right buttock, lift off of the support. So lift off the floor, off of your blanket. Now here, strap is close by. Bring your left hand behind you and reach your right arm up into the sky. Lengthen through the right side waist. Now open your right knee to the right so that you can move your torso down towards your left leg. And either grab your left foot or grab your strap and loop it around your foot. Deep breaths. Hug that right knee back in towards the middle. So you're hugging your torso, your upper arm with the right knee. And you can either stay here or fold a little deeper by modifying the pose a bit. So if you're comfortable here and you want to move on, you'll let go of the strap, bring it into your left hand, you might need it, and let go of your foot with the right hand and reach the palm forward. Now turn the thumb down towards the floor so the palm turns towards the right side of the room. And then wrap your arm around the right leg. So now the back of my hand is touching my outer hip. Now with that left hand, reach behind your back and either pass the strap into your right hand, or if you've got the mobility, grab hands. I'll turn around and show you what this looks like. Okay. And then from here, you can bring the left shoulder forward and round down a little further. One more deep breath. And release the hands. Come back up to seated and straighten your legs. So we'll do the second side. Bend into that left knee. And bring the left sitting or heel as close into the sitting bone as you can get it. Bring your right hand behind you. Lift your left arm up into the sky. Inhale to lengthen through the side waists. Exhale to fold forward, grabbing your foot or your strap looped around the foot. Hug that left knee in towards the midline. Again, it's okay to let the left buttocks lift off the floor. Marichyasana 1, I believe this is. So if you want to move on, you'll release the foot or the strap, bring your left hand forward and flip the thumb down so the palm faces towards the left. And then wrap the arm around the leg. Reach the right hand or the strap behind you. And either hold onto the strap or hold on to your hands. Deep breath. Maybe bringing that right side shoulder closer down towards your leg as you fold further forward. Breathe into the back side of the lung. Notice where your left foot is connected to the floor. Can you press into the inner edge of the foot a little bit more? Now release the hands and come back up to seated. We'll straighten both legs out in front of you and take a seated twist that begins very similar to that. It's Marichyasana 3, I believe. Bend that right knee right back to where we started, pulling it in towards the sitting bone. Now we bring the right hand behind and lift the left arm up into the sky. Inhale to lengthen the side waists. Exhale, twist to your right, and then hug your right knee in. So now you can also do this with your elbow on the outside of the knee, but hugging the knee in will help you get maybe a little bit more stretch on the outer right hip. And we did a lot of work with those outer hip muscles. I'm not letting you off the hook yet. We've got 10 minutes left. So think about that left leg. Make it strong. Press the top of the thigh bone down. Feel the quadricep engaged. And inhale back to center. Straighten both of your legs. Change sides. Left knee bends, foot flat on the floor. Left hand to the outer left side body. Inhale, lift the right arm to the sky. Exhale, twist to the left and hug the left leg in. Strong right leg. Breathe. Press the tops of the thighs down. Heels stay on the ground. Reach them further in front of you. Inhale, lift the arms overhead. Lengthen through both side waists. Breathe in. As you exhale, fold forward. Use your strap to grab your toes or maybe your hands. A breath in, you lift your sternum towards your toes, so you lengthen the spine. And as you breathe out, allow your back to round. Open your elbows wide and spread your collarbones. Spread the shoulder blades away from the spine. Take deep breaths into the backside of your body, in and out. Soften your belly. Breathe in and out. This is Paschimottanasana. A stretch for the entire back line of your body, from calves past hamstrings, through the muscles of the spine. We inhale to lengthen the spine. Reach the sternum towards the toes. Come up halfway. And then crawl the hands towards the hips to sit upright. You bend your knees. And you'll lay down on your back. Really winding down now. We're almost there. Knees bent, feet on the floor. Pull your inhale. And as you exhale, twist to your left. Cross the right leg over the body. The knee doesn't have to come down to the ground. Some people like to straighten through the right leg here. Some people prefer to leave the knee bent. Let your left leg be lazy. Letting the body go. Switching gears towards Shavasana. Use an inhale breath to come back to center. Bring both of your feet flat on the floor. Pull your left knee into the chest and lengthen your right leg out long. Bring your left arm out to a T, palms face up. Inhale. And as you exhale, cross your leg over the body, twisting to your right. Maybe you gaze over the left hand. Maybe you keep your eyes towards the sky. Any way you do this, relax and soften. Notice your breathing. Allow your body to let go. And a breath in, bring your knee back to center. And hug your right knee in to meet the left. Release your feet to the floor. We'll take one more set of poses before Shavasana. Lengthen your legs out long. And then bring the arms overhead. You can be lazy about it. Elbows can be bent anywhere that's comfortable. Some folks aren't comfortable with the arms overhead, so they don't have to be there. Now keep both of your buttocks on the floor and walk your legs and feet over to the right as far as you can. So we're beginning to arch through the right side of the body and lengthen the left. Both buttocks are on the floor. We're not rolling. Now you can scoot the shoulders and arms over to the right as well.
So we're making a banana shape or a crescent moon shape on the floor. Maybe you want to cross one ankle over the other. Experiment. See if that feels all right. If the arms are hovering far off the floor, then get them out of the equation. Bend the elbows until the arms feel comfortable. And here the left side of the body is open. So let's breathe into the left side lungs as if you could send all of the oxygen into the left lung. Feel the spaces between the ribs stretching on the left. Soften the body to the earth. Release any gripping or holding. And uncross your ankles and walk the feet back to center. Scoot your shoulders and arms back to center. And then the second side. Walk the feet and legs over to the left. And then the shoulders and arms follow, moving over to the left. Maybe crossing the ankles, but breathing deeply into the right side lung. And uncross your ankles. Bring everything back to center. And release your arms down by the sides of the body, palms face up. Or if you enjoyed having your hands on your body as we did in the beginning, maybe you place the palms on the body. This is your final Shavasana. It might be more comfortable to you to leave the knees bent and let them knock in towards one another. Let everything go for a couple of minutes. The purpose of this pose is to allow the body to integrate all of the work that you just did. Allow the mind to soften. There's nothing you need to do. The work will be done for you. Like a deep sleep integrates your memories. Can you relax even more? Now, as always, you can stay as long as you like, but the Instagram video will cut off in just under a minute. Gentle reminder, I teach Zoom classes on Wednesdays and Fridays at 12:30. And on Thursdays this week, I'm offering tarot readings. And I'm not psychic. It's kind of fun. It's all symbolism and a flip perspective. So if you're interested in that, reach out to me. If you have any questions, I'm here for you. I work on requests. I love teaching what you want.